Why do it when I can pay somebody a little bit of money to do it?
Or are you just going to change the dates of your tournament again?
No, this is the final time that I'm changing the date of the tournament. I actually
What'd you change
talked
it to?
with our state rep, the parks people, and Scott Withers, thankfully, about just some of the ideas and changing the date. It was kind of unfortunate how it all went down, but thankfully, I mean, I think this day is going to work. I just kind of rushed, like I said, like I rushed into the 9th because I was like, oh, when the 20th got canceled because PDGA kind of double booked. I was scrambling, so I was like, just get on the books. And that wasn't the right way to approach it. So it's kind of like lesson learned for me. It's definitely my first tournament. So scheduling errors are going to happen, but being able to kind of talk things through and work it all out and landing on the 17th, I feel good about it.
Is it a D tier now?
It's a D tier now. Fucking A.
Typical scammer talk. I'm going to keep moving the dates and taking your money.
Right? Oh, you asked for a refund? The date's changing. What day works for you?
Deal with it, PDGA.
I know, now that I'm behind the scenes, though, so this is my first tournament, so I've never been behind the scenes in disc golf scene. There's an ignore refund button. So I was like, I'm just going to fucking ignore everybody and then just burn out for a one time.
This page is just going to take the world for one tournament money and then disappear.
Exactly. That's all I'm going to do. Never hear from me again. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that on the tournament scene, and then online, I'm going to buy discs for cheap and flip them super high, so that I can just and then I'm going to scam people. Right? I'm going to do this one big wave, use all of my reputation, make $1,000, and then just burn everybody.
That's what I've been doing for years.
Oh, and we lost Cody already.
No.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to this week's Jammers in the Rough. We got glitchy ass Cody, the absolute worst Waldron. We got Josh, the rally dyke himself, Winter. What? And of course, your boy, Paige. What is up? We got an amazing episode with you. This week, we're going to talk about potential rule changes coming in. That's kind of like the main thing that we wanted to talk to you about. PDGA just released their the rules that they're voting on to change, and their proposed changes. And so Josh scanned these things, read them, so he's going to lead us through this, and we're going to share our opinions on them.
Yeah, because I memorized them. Absolutely not. Let me see here. There we go.
Oh,
screen. Right. This is so the first one in this list. They talk about let's see. A player may move casual obstacles that are on the playing surface farther from the target than the front edge of the lie, which I think that used to be where supporting point may be placed when taking a stance. So they kind of made it where you can just grab anything on the ground and just throw it backwards, is what I get from it.
That's kind of what I got from it as well, because the old rule was your stance, and I think Big Germ and Yuli were talking about oh, well, Big Germ with his stance can remove more than Yuli, so it was unfair. Whereas
and James Conrad needs to do his run up and flip and throw, so he needs a runway.
So I think this rule, it's kind of a gray area that people have already been in, taking advantage of, right? You see a lot of people kind of moving things outside of their lie and outside of their stance, and you kind of see it, but it's close enough that you're not going to be all right, take your stance. Look, you move this. But where I get curious about this rule becoming a hindrance, people take a stance. Things are in their way. They kick rocks. They move it with their feet. Big sticks in the way, so they move it. That happens, but all within the realm of 30 seconds. My curiosity with this rule is within that 30-second timer, because your timer starts when you should be able to take your lie. So when you're moving this stuff, your 30 seconds is going. I'm curious if this is going to slow the game down quite a bit, because people are trying to give themselves the more optimal lie because of the casual, obstacles that are in their way. And that's quite a bit of things, right? Casual obstacles, anything that's not designed or that's not natural and not designed to be where it's at, right? You put a railroad tie as an island, that's an obstacle that's supposed to stay. But a tree fell down, they're able to kind of move some of those things. So I think my concern with this rule is it's going to be taking more and more time to set up people's stances, because now all of a sudden they can move clearly everything that they want to see, or what they can see.
I mean,
but it's
that's
only
possible.
behind the disc, right?
Yeah,
it's behind the disc, but but it's not within your stance, right? So
yeah.
And then
go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is that it's possible that it could slow it down, but when I've played casual rounds and there's something in my way, I just pick it up, toss it back, toss it to the side. I don't really see it taking a lot of time of that 30 seconds to move.
Have you seen people that do take advantage of this and will, like, I've seen people before that like will stand there and practice throw and try and knock as much stuff down. Like if they're in branches and you're not supposed to move stuff in front of you, they'd be like, oh, it's just my follow through and all this stuff. And they're just like ripping things down, which, I mean, if it's within the rules, I guess go you. But at the same time, do you think that's a gray area that they're exploiting or not?
I mean, in that certain case that you're saying, absolutely. But but I mean, when you're playing casually, was that in the tournament or casual play?
That was in a tournament. In casual play, I don't really care. Like even in casual play, like with my buddies and stuff, especially if it's safety concerned, I don't really care. Because like if they're like their disc goes down like a ravine and where their disc would be unsafe, like yeah, dude, just stand behind it, take a step up. I don't care. Like the last thing I want is at a casual round having to drag you out of here and carry you out. But if it's casual, I'm cool with it. If it's a tournament, I think the rules should be a little bit more black and white, not gray.
Okay. Also, I think this wording is fucking terrible. A player may move casual obstacles that are on the playing surface farther from the target than the front edge of the lie.
That is pretty worded poorly.
So bad. And that's PDGA. Their wording's terrible. But I think a lot of people are thinking about this rule straight back. I'm really curious about the left to right like plane and how that's going to kind of impact it, right?
Isn't it still 11 inches? Like don't they say it's the size of a piece of paper, 11 by 8 or whatever?
That's your stance. What I'm saying is what you're able to clear out. Because now all of a sudden you have your left to right movements. And if there's like some things that, like you have a log that's 5 feet to you, but you have some of these branches that are spidering out towards you. Now all of a sudden, is that going to get moved out of the way? Whereas in the past, it used to not, right? Because you just be like, all right, this is annoying. This big old this big old log with protruding limbs is in my way. Well, frustrating as it is, boom, putt, move on. Also run-ups, right? Like that's where it really matters with run-ups. If that same log that's 5 feet away with protruding branches, instead of being like, okay, cool, I'm not going to tear up my shins, I'm going to, do a standstill. Now all of a sudden, like it opens like this kind of like plane of removal. And that's where I get, like I said, I get worried about time. I get worried about like competitive advantages and disadvantages with that. Especially because like I'm one of those people, like if you're in a natural OB area that isn't OB and there's all of this like frustrating surrounding, you should be punished, right? Like you're off the fairway, you're scrambling. That's why we have a scramble stat. You taking the minute to make it as clean and as precise as you can to try to get yourself moving forward. I don't think that is in the flavor of the game. And there's a rule that talks about going against the spirit of the game. And I don't like the spirit of the game. I like the flavor of the game. So
what flavor is it?
Also, what flavor is it? It's fucking dirt. It's worm. It's freaking how many times do you lick your finger? It's whatever the fuck you taste when you lick your fingers. That's the flavor of the game. The people that are just like go.
All right.
I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. If you're newer and you're curious about what the actual lie area is, Cascadia Disc Golf, they have their little towels that are they're lie towels. There's some cool graphics on them. You can get them on infinite discs, but it's the exact size of a lie, so you can like put it behind your desk and kind of train yourself.
I don't know. What if I tell big lies?
You have? Well, I mean that's
what if I tell white lies? I'll call
sizes. I'll call it. Okay, you know what? Moving
So
on.
real quick. So we'll do this, right? Let's
Oh,
vote on this
gosh.
rule. Us three.
Okay,
Like,
okay,
We're
are you in
voting.
favor of it or against it? I'm just curious, like if you're in favor or
Yeah.
against it, and then a quick why.
I'm in favor of it, just because I think it's pretty straightforward. Move all the crap that's in behind your disc and start throwing. I
All
think it
right,
makes it more clear.
we'll go down the list. I'm against it. I think it's worded absolutely terribly. It needs to be reworded so that it's not ambiguous, jumbled mess like all of PDGA rules. Also, it needs to think about a lot of things that coexist with it. So I'm against it.
For me, there needs to be a clear and cut. This is what you're allowed to move in this area. So I like the rule. I just want them to specify how much and how much time. Do I have 30 seconds? Do I have a minute? What do I have? And what, like, because is someone going to sit there and pick it all up? So I am pro rule with a stipulation.
It sounds like you're anti-rule and it needs
Well,
to
then
be
fine,
reworded.
anti-rule. Yeah, so
Yeah.
reworded. Yeah.
Like I'm
So
fine
I
with
guess-
the rule. Like I like the idea in a
All right,
sense,
then
but
I
I'm
disagree. Disagree with it. And
there you go.
The way it's
2
written
against
right
1,
now, disagree.
Josh. I strong armed him.
Oh gosh,
Okay.
that's not even a real rule. My gosh,
American politics right here. Let's see what we got here.
just go
Let's
down,
go
Josh.
down.
Paige
Let's
is
go
about to
to
go
the
off on a
scoring.
tangent about something.
So there's a bunch of rule changes, but they all of this one, it's for the scoring. A lot of things are changing in the wording of things just to have one main thing changed. That is that each player on a card has to independently take score instead of 2 or 1. Like every single person has to do it.
Hate it.
I love it. Why do you hate it, Cody?
Because if I'm playing, I don't want to always keep score. If I have 2 people out of my group of 3 or 4 keeping score, why do I have to do it? What if I don't want to bring my phone? What if I don't want to have a piece of paper? If someone's offering to keep score and there's 2 people that will keep check of each other, why do I have to do it?
Well, there's not always somebody offering.
If someone doesn't offer, sure, I understand that somebody needs to do it. But yeah, my phone has no service. I've seen that before too.
Oh, my battery's almost dead.
I've heard that
another new rule is that all PDGA tournament directors have to supply a scorecard and probably pencils as well, but at least
we
a
got to go back
scorecard to all.
So we're killing trees.
No,
so
the app,
the
app counts. The app counts.
The app counts. I'm just saying that they have to have those available just in case, say, Cody's phone doesn't have service.
What if I don't have a phone?
Scorecard? Then you
so
have
I will
a
say,
then I ain't keeping score.
Because this is all in a competitive sense, right? In a competitive sense, the advantage and disadvantage of keeping score and not keeping score is definitely real. You have pros that will keep score only on paper score, so they're not aware of the score as it's going on. And a lot of pros actually prefer to keep paper scorecards over digital, and I'm fine with that. I think the fact that every tournament you have to have a little dance and show about, well, who wants to keep score, and then and it gets to the point to where people refuse to show up until like 2 minutes beforehand because they don't want to have that conversation.
Then have a draw. Random number.
But see,
number
like,
3.
why have a draw when you literally have, like, everybody is required to keep score? Also, it's going to help with check-in because if you have to use the app, you're able to check in quickly. I just think...
Cool, I'll check in. I don't want to keep score.
I just don't think, but see, that's an advantage to you because you don't want to. You're forcing somebody else to, and that's a competitive advantage. And I don't think that's fair in a competitive stance. So I'm definitely like for this rule because I think
got carpal tunnel. I can't keep score. I can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't throw a disc then.
I am for the rule.
They can hold
I am for this rule. As someone who always keeps score, just because I don't want to deal with that who wants to keep score? I just like volunteer 95% of the time.
There you go. I'll play with Josh. Josh, keep my score. I don't want to do it.
But it's because I don't want to deal with that. Like, oh, well, let me see how much battery I have on my phone. It's like, it's just, I'm a grown ass person, and let's just play disc golf. And
I would never argue if someone said, "Could you keep score?" I'll say, "Yeah, that's fine." But I don't think everyone should have to. But then that guy's keeping score too. I mean,
but I also think like that too, though. Like, make it everybody, because then if you scroll down, it's also making it fair to where if somebody messes up the score, they're penalized and not the entire card is penalized. And I think that is fair as well.
Well, if they use the PDGA app, then you can't move forward, or it'll alert you that there's a correction that needs to be made between one of the cards that are keeping score.
Mm-hmm.
So if one person's off, it's going to let everyone know that there's someone who's off.
So are we
and to
all
verify
logging in
it.
a PDGA, or are we using UDisc? What's happening here? Give me something here.
There's a PDGA. You have your options though. Those are all three options that you're able to use.
Yeah.
Paper
Three options.
scorecard, UDisc, and PDGA app.
I'm going to use a piece of bark. A piece of bark and just...
The PDGA app depends on the tournament director and if they set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think UDisc has that too. Yeah, UDisc does that.
What if it was taking turns? What if first round I did it, second round this guy had to do it, third round this guy had to do it? I don't mind doing my share. I'm just saying every time, a little redundant.
But I think you're missing the core point of why this rule got changed. Is to like just have everyone do it, suck it up, and it keeps everyone honest, and it's more people checking the score.
Struggling.
Sounds good to me.
So, I also think that I love this because this is kind of the like what we bring to the table, right? Cody's obviously the MA3 player bringing his opinion, and when you get higher levels of competition, you're starting to kind of see some of that stuff, and a little bit more respectful when it comes to some of these things.
Hey, put it this way: guess who's never lost an MA1 tournament? Boom. And I play MA2, brother.
But you're not undefeated.
Oh, you moved up. Congratulations.
I moved up like last year, man. Because you can't give this guy crap. Yeah.
Yeah, he did move up last year.
That's like the one thing I do is give everyone crap.
Exactly.
All right.
So we voted 2 against 1. That rule sucks.
I think it was the other way around.
I'm saying you guys won. I voted no. You guys voted yes. I still don't like that rule. I mean,
here's the other part to it: is that a player may delegate scorekeeping duties only
I do like this
their designated caddy. So if you have a designated caddy, you can have them keep score.
I like this a lot. Then. Give me a caddy. I'm down for it.
Get yourself a caddy. Caddies aren't provided. This isn't golf.
Oh, it isn't? It's called disc golf. Homeboy.
Yeah, disc golf. You see how there's 2 different pronunciations to that?
It's pronounced. I'm not saying disc golfa. It's still disc golf. It's still the same
golf,
word.
And then there's disc golf. 2 different ways of saying it. 2 different sports.
All right, here's the one I don't agree in.
This one's dumb.
It's so bad. All right,
so dumb.
So this one is saying that you now will have to be a PDGA member for that current year if you want to play C tier events, and on top of that, they're adding a new D tier events to allow non-members to play.
I agree with you. This one sucks.
Yeah, it's
because they're just
C tiers are all.
You know why they made this rule, though, right?
Bottom of the barrel.
This is why. Because then you can't play tournaments unless you pay the $50 yearly fee. That's it. That's my whole reasoning. This is why they're doing it. I don't like the rule. I liked it when it was if you weren't a PDGA, pay the $10. Because if you played 5 or less tournaments a year, cool, great. Spend your $50 any way you want. But the fact that they're forcing you to, it should be A and B and up. Cool. But C tier, no. C tier is like the dudes that play that drink a beer while they're playing. Like, I don't care, dude. Play however you want. Play casual.
Well, that's gonna be D tier now. I just think you're literally taking something that already exists and you're trying to split it to do exactly the same fucking thing with now all of a sudden more realization or more rules and regulation on C tiers while trying to create, the lawless D tier. Also,
you know why?
Oh, it's always about money. It's always about money because the amount of C tiers compared to B tiers, A tiers, and higher, like C tiers trump it. But that doesn't mean there's more money in it. There's usually less money. And so then you're just going to force people to be like, well, C or B tier or C or D tier. Do we want to have everyone sanctioned or not sanctioned?
Or what's going to happen is people just will stop playing tournaments. They'll be like, I don't need to play. I'll just play casual with my buddies because they don't want to pay $50 for the thing plus the tournament fee. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just think D tier is a way to try to sanction unsanctioned tournaments to try to create some of that buy-in.
I like how you put it lawless.
Yeah, it's
Heathens
just,
savages.
Savages. Barely even human.
But I mean, those D tier, the D tiers better have some like loose rules if they're gonna add another one, because C tier is already like casual
what
play.
if it was like the XFL but like of disc golf? Like if someone's putting you're allowed to knock it out of the air if you can get behind. Like
just hear me out though. Like not XFL. Let's do the lingerie league for D tiers.
No, dude.
I'll play the banana hammock. Is all I'm saying. I'm down for that.
And that's why we should not let this happen.
No shoes, banana hammock.
Like, what if you could play defense? You could be 10 feet away from the basket, and it would force you to like scoob over someone.
Moving
I'm just telling
things
you.
in front of your lie. How about that? Just move things in front of your lie.
No, but you
Or,
can't
like-
do your lie. It has to be your opponent's lie.
You only have 5 seconds to throw. Only 5 seconds. Make it count.
Yeah,
So
I
we're all
think
voting. This one stinks.
I think this rule is absolutely terrible. Because like longtime listener Corby Wayhemiller, like mentioned, like they're on an island, so when they play tournaments, they're playing less than 5 a year.
How do you know
because they
that's
have to go-
Corby?
Well, how? Because it's Alaska.
There's more than one.
We have
Aaron
one
Gray.
listener.
Aaron, Gray, where you at, baby?
Aaron's not listening right now.
Aaron.
We have one listener in Alaska. And that's Corby.
Corby, is
And
that you?
so-
If it's you, say it's me, Corby.
It is. We all know what it is.
I get confused
There's
for
like-
Corby
there's-
all the
there's-
time.
There's only
all
one
the
dot
time.
on the map.
Such a new weird thing. And like you get
CW?
confused for like all the aggro reasons too. Like Corby's like absorbing all your aggro for no reason.
No, he got kicked out of that group. That's all I'm saying. See,
I know, but he
yeah.
like made a post in the lounge, and then like
Scott
who was
Johnson was like, "Yo, dude, to my man, my Alaskan brother." I was like, "Dude, I'm in Maryland."
So move on. This rule is absolutely
Ugh.
dumb. D tiers need
yeah.
not exist. Just keep it unsanctioned, and then C tiers and above.
But I think it does also on like glass half full. I think it's going
No.
to promote a lot more unsanctioned events, which I think there should be a lot more of.
I think there needs to be a lot more unsanctioned events, but I don't think
Yeah.
D tier is the way to go about that.
No, because that makes it sanctioned. They're like trying
E tier.
to. They're trying to.
E tier.
They're trying to get our casual play taken away from us. I'm sorry, no, thank you. I like 2-on-1.
Wait, no. We all agreed on that one. That one stunk.
No,
No,
2-on-1
no,
is like the
no.
Oregon start. You throw 2, and then you play your best lie.
Yeah.
It's
Or
on
C
whole-
tier should just be like you get two putts. You get like just make it crazy. The second putt always goes in, so you get 2 putts. Whatever you can putt in 10 seconds, you can have it.
Yeah, this is the one where they added the verbiage to make sure that the tournament directors provide scorecards now to every player. Let's see. This strikes the ability to randomly mix divisions for the first round of a C tier, such as random mixing may take place at the new D tier level. What? Oh, I see. You can't like play with MA2 can't play with MA1 players for first round.
Oh,
On
so
a
we're
C tier.
segregating people. That's good. That's great.
Well, this is always like
Okay.
this is like part of that rule change, and this is obviously for C and D tiers, but this is like low attendance tournaments. They like, especially because like if C tiers barely fill up at this point, I very much doubt D tiers are going to fill up.
Well, they're saying you can in D tier. It says you can have random on first round for D tier, but you can no longer do it on C tier. So you can't.
Yeah, but that's what I
go to a
mean.
C tier.
Like C tiers barely fill up as is, and when you have like FPO, FA1 divisions with like 1 to 2 people, you have to mix. You can't have a card of 2, and I just don't think this is a realistic change to low filling tournaments. I think it makes sense to like B tier and higher because those tournaments usually fill up in a lot of regards, but when it's C tier and D tier and you're just trying to get people to sign up and you can't mix, that doesn't make sense to me.
So Page's whole platform is get rid of D tier. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. D tier is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where you at, Knight Handhold? D tiers are dumb.
You say Knight? Isn't his name Nate?
Nate? I
He's
don't
doing
know.
Ledgestone right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I love seeing like, dude, all the people flipping Lunas right now. It's wild. Buy this Luna.
Like a Luna in a right. I just like how Paul Macbeth isn't playing and he's still getting a giant ass payday.
Well, I mean, that is the whole
Yeah.
purpose of a contract. 10 years,
I mean,
10
he's
million.
not sponsored by Ledgestone.
No, but he's getting paid by. Oh, well, I mean, whatever.
Anyways,
So, what's this rule, Josh? Talk to us.
Let's see. Well, I'll let you guys finish up. So it looks like I think the blue is what they added
Yes, the
So
blue
it's
is different. This is different than last year.
We've had a lot more playoffs, and because we've had a lot more playoffs, they're incorporating more rules because it's lawless out there, and they don't know what to do when you have two people walk up and they're like, "Well, who throws first?"
Yeah, don't you just
Sudden-
play until like someone beats the next person? Like you play hole
That's
one
how.
again.
But how do you decide who throws first and who throws second?
Rock, paper, scissors. Mm.
That's not the rule. That's not written in.
It
That's what they're
should
trying
be.
to do.
That's how I have kids. So at school, that's my rule. If you have an argument in the gym, rock, paper, scissors, figure it out.
Why don't you
Yeah,
run for the fucking chair then?
I
I
would. It
want to
would be
see Cody
great.
Waldron on this.
So
See
I'm
if
running.
you can beat the Heinhold.
You know I could. Check my feedback, baby. Mm.
Oh, I mean, let's check your feedback in TSA buy, sell, and trade.
Well, I mean, my feedback was good, just not with the admin.
Yeah,
I tried to
think
offer
all
someone
this-
a new disc.
all this one is it's the same sudden death play we all know, but instead of being a short little paragraph, they've defined it to what we know it as. I don't see
Yeah.
anything really changed here.
They're going to change it. It can't be called sudden death anymore.
It is. It's
That's
called sudden death.
offensive.
Sudden death, rock, paper, scissors, first person. I mean, you lose, or you can choose. I don't care. But rock, paper, scissors settles everything.
So I think like they're actually separating sudden death from aggregate playoff. And it seems like the aggregate playoff is a type of sudden death where they're playing less than 6 holes. So they're
This one right here.
specifying the differences of like, okay, 1 through 18, go until you stop, and the difference of like we're gonna play these 3 holes on a loop until we have a winner.
I see. Like they do that, but they don't. They just call it a playoff regardless of which one they're doing. So now,
Yeah,
they're,
but I think they're
defining the two of
specifying it
them.
because I think like on a pro tour having an aggregate makes sense because these courses are longer, whereas having like some of these B tiers and lower, having it just kind of go through 18 because I wasn't expecting a playoff. We don't have holes like already like allocated beforehand, so they play straight through. They're just separating them, and I think that
Yeah.
should be separated because you need to know what to call them. Because like if I'm going to write into like the tournament bio, that I'd be like, okay, sudden deaths will be split by aggregate playoff. Then people know what to
Okay.
expect.
Sudden
Okay, so
death,
like-
you get a random disc you have to play playoffs with. Boom.
So basically, the same thing has been happening, but it's just defined now. It's an
Exactly.
actual rule. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. That one's a thumbs up.
I'm against it just because of Cody being
'Cause you're-
for it.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Corby Cody 2024. What's up?
I am for it because I'm always for defining things. PDGA is an ambiguous shit show. This is them defining it. Hey, this is a step forward. Way
You're
to
gonna
go,
get
PDGA.
kicked out of the PDGA. You're gonna get kicked out
Do it.
because of all your
Paige-
unkind words.
Paige Smith will come out then. Paige
And then you-
McCabe, like,
And they're gonna be like, "Hey, this guy is a terrible TD. He's changing dates. People are getting upset."
I do. There's a Facebook user. Do you want to highlight? They should have a special kids membership. I like that.
I like that. That's smart because as someone who's trying to get kids to play at my school, I love it. $10. Heck, I'd pay for kids to do that.
Josh, can
I'd
you highlight
sponsor
that
5
in the
kids.
chat?
He's
Let's see. I'm
scrolling.
sorry.
Josh is confused.
Yeah.
Josh.
Which one? Hey, okay. First of all, you don't have me run this gosh darn rule page and then have me
From
be looking over
Facebook
here.
user at 9:37. I'm trying to help you out.
9:30.
It's 6:37.
9:37. Thank you.
No, see,
Thank
I'm in
you.
real time. You guys
So,
are behind.
I'm gonna read the comment. Facebook user said they should have a special kids membership for kids that's like $10 or free. We need more young people playing. I am in completely agreement with this.
Yes.
When it comes to a kid, you don't know if this kid's gonna play 1 tournament or 20 tournaments. So charging them the full PDGA membership makes 0 sense. Being able to charge them like $10 or free encourages them to go, and it also encourages TDs to put junior fields in and have like 15 and under mean something, or 17 and under, juniors, 12 and under, all those things actually have viable competition for that, instead of being like, okay, we might put this in there, and when it doesn't fill, we're gonna open up the wait list. So I am
Give
for
a
this.
starter pack. Yes.
Yeah, and exactly, and I think it should be like, if it's gonna do $10, you should also like have tournament directors that have lower priced as well, right? Like if it's $75 for this tournament, make it $25 for juniors, things like that, so that you actually encourage them to play, because right now it might be too expensive to get my 12-year-old into it. Not for me, but for other parents out there.
For your hypothetical
For
12-year-old.
my yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
I'm for that. Great comment.
Who
If
was
you're
that? Facebook user? Who is that? Corby, is that you?
no, that's Facebook user.
That Facebook user, every once in a while, they got some good thoughts. They're a
Mm.
smart person.
So what's our next rule, Josh?
Okay, you hear me out. Shh. The next
What?
rule is about time, pace of play, pace of play.
The
They
Nico
changed some
rule.
wording. They made, instead of saying quickly, they say a more fancier word.
Expeditiously.
Yeah,
I'm actually
Thank you,
surprised you
Paige.
got that. That was good.
That was really good. They're also
Ooh, 1,000 rated
they
reader.
they made a rule that excessive time is not just for the player of the group, but it's the whole group can also cause a delay and be all issued a penalty stroke if the tournament director decides that group is causing the delay.
Oh my gosh, this happened at the last tournament I was at. It was a very wooded course, but the group in front of us, they were like every person that was throwing was losing a disc, and then they would spend 2 minutes, and sometimes I feel like even longer. Like, am I allowed to call them on a time violation when the group in front of me is spending like 5 minutes looking for a disc? Then that guy throws it and then loses it immediately. Another like 2 to 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, we had 6 groups that got caught up to this one group. It was terrible.
I mean, it sounds like it has to be the tournament official, whether it be the tournament director or assistant tournament director, that does the timing for groups.
Mm.
So that's when they're on the clock, though. That's a TD when they put them on the clock. Cody, in your example, you are able to go up and be like, "Hey guys, you need to speed up the pace of play. Remember that you have 30 seconds. We're back here." As a player, you're able to go and do that. Now, does everybody exercise that option? No. And that's a frustrating thing. The only thing I have with this rule is when you're in, let's say, the MPO division, and you guys start after like MP40 or FPO or MA1, when you had the division times, right? Like bottom card of MPO starting behind lead card FPO, they catch them in 2 holes, and then 16 holes they're delayed. You don't want to say FPO like, hey, you're on the clock, hurry this up. But those things happen, and that's generally what causes a lot of delay in tournaments, outside of obviously what Cody is explaining. So I think this rule, in its sense, is good for when it's like the same, like, okay, our MPO division, Cody's group is taking forever. You're on the clock, hurry it up. But when it becomes division to division, how do you gauge that and how do you speed it along without, demeaning people, right? Like, oh, hey, FPO, hurry it up. You guys have 4 cards back there. That's not going to encourage them to play. That's not going to encourage them to want to come out there, and it's going to be isolating. And people are already bitch enough about it as is. I don't think this is a good fix. And usually the tournament director is at the booth, so they're not even aware of what's going on in the course. They're not walking every hole, seeing where the buildups are. They don't have that present on 18 holes. They're at Tournament Central, like the PDGA told them to be. And so they can't even enforce this rule. So that to me makes this rule dumb because it's not even really enforceable. It's not even encourageable, and it doesn't take divisions into account. So I'm against this one.
Except the fact that TDs a lot of times supply numbers to contact them at, and if you're playing, you can text or call said tournament director to let them know an infraction is happening, and you need them at like hole 4 now, hole 6, maybe even hole 7. Who knows?
So I mean,
Fight them
you're
good.
encouraging people to narc, right? Like
That's,
you already don't have enough
rules
players.
That's what rules
No,
are.
but like you don't even have players that are like Cody, 6 card piled up. Cody didn't have the stones to go walk up and tell people they'll hurry it up. And so now you're telling them to be like, okay, cool, call the tournament director, get him over here so that they can hurry him up and then put him on a clock.
Fight them.
That seems like ridiculous to me, and it doesn't seem like it belongs on a competitive level. It seems like it just belongs in that XFL that Cody was talking about, right? Like
it's forming. It's coming.
But in the PDGA world, everyone is abiding by these rules or being called out in the way that they set the rules in place. That's what we're discussing here. We're not discussing what we would do. We're trying to talk about what these rules are saying we should do.
And I'm saying, like, in a competitive environment, this rule doesn't like fit. And I'm not even talking about Pro Tour. I'm talking about A tier on down. This rule is ridiculous because you don't have staggered play. Like Cody's example, a guy takes a full 3 minutes, finds his disc, throws his disc again, and is looking for it for 3 minutes. That's not them slowing. It's terrible, but it's not them slowing things down. That's them playing within the rules and established with the 30 seconds, the 3 minutes. It's slowing things down, granted, but they're not being excessive about it. They're just playing the game, right? They just hit a tree and now they had to find a disc. I mean, they're playing bad, but that's like, but playing bad isn't against the rules.
In the XFL, it would be.
Well, that's why they got the D League. Yeah. Why they got the D League.
That's why they got the D tier. But what about MA2? How many MA2 players have you saw lose a disc, have to come back, throw it? Now they're looking again. Like, it's not just D tiers. It's not just any division. Even MPO, I've seen it on, right? Like, nobody likes to lose.
Are you talking about Barella, six strokes on that last tournament?
Right? Yeah, but like that, for example, that's a good example, right? When do you be like, okay, hey, Barella, you use 6 times 3? 180 seconds of time. You're slowing everybody down. Just hurry this the F up. You're on the clock. Go. Like, no, he's just playing. I would
have called him after the second shot. I'm sorry.
He probably wanted someone to call him. He probably said, just stroke me and let me go, please.
Whoa. I think going forward, if I'm playing casual play, I'm going to, and somebody's being slow in front of me, I'm going to go on Disc Golf Scene, find a local tournament that's coming up, call that tournament director, and complain about this group in front of me.
Each group should have a slingshot and paintballs, and you're allowed after 2 minutes to start just slinging.
Or just start playing, and you just let fate decide.
So 2 cards are let fate decide.
Yeah, let fate decide if they get hit. You know, hey, if you think you're so much better and go faster than them, don't hit them. But if you do, it's not your fault.
But I think that's a bigger rule change that needs to take play is when the group is out of your range, you determine your range. You're able to determine
my range. I can throw as far as I want. Maybe I threw far this time. Maybe not.
But
like time.
Like a 500-foot par 3, if you can't clear 400, the moment they're at 450, you should be able to throw.
So then we have to start marking lines.
No, I mean, gauge it.
What
if you don't think you can throw, or if you don't know where 450 is, then you're fine to throw because clearly you don't know what 450 looks like in the air. So you're okay to throw, Cody.
It'd be just one of my best throws ever. Just it'd be magical.
Yeah, Florida will sue. Throw down the mountain. Throw down the mountain. It's already in trouble.
That's why Paul's not playing. He's tired of getting sued by people.
I know, right?
Poor Paul, having a baby, getting sued. They're gonna be living out of a trailer.
I mean, they already are, right? I was joking with so I was taking out, or so I'm coaching Dallas and doing a couple things with him, but we're walking to the track and we walked by some homeless. And I'm like, see what happens when your career fails as a disc golfer? This is gonna be you. I'm like, wait, no. When you're the most successful disc golfer in the world, this is what your life is going to look like.
Man, you make Dallas run laps?
Oh yeah, he did a mile today. Guess what his mile was? This little shit. Guess what Dallas's mile was?
How old is he?
He's 15.
12.
He looks 10. I'm gonna guess his mile.
12.
He's 15, probably 7:35.
Josh?
12 minutes and 14
this
seconds.
Little shit who talked about like how he's not an athlete or whatever, and he goes on. He ran a 6-minute 30-second mile.
Well, so we at the beginning of every school year, the whole county does a cross country. It's a mile for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We have some kids that can do the cross country course in under 6 minutes.
Yeah,
it's incredible, and these are 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. It's incredible. I'm thinking, I would die. I would die at this point.
It's the whole county. The whole county.
The whole county. Yeah, whole county.
That's Maryland?
Well, Washington County. So like we have 26 elementary schools, and anyone can sign up. We have kids that do it in like 5:54, and then we have kids that do it in like 16 minutes. It's a pretty big spread. So But yeah, like there's some kids, and some people take it serious. Like some people go to the and it's not like a track. It's up and down elevation changes, down hills. You're gonna be running on grass, running on gravel. But yeah, some of these kids are incredible. Like 10 years old, you're running a sub 6 minute mile. Like, good for. And some of it, someone just wrote natural talent. Some of it is genetics. A lot of it has to do with that because some of these kids, you look at them, you're like, this kid just ate 12 donuts on the way here. He ain't running a 12-minute mile, but
no, Brandon Banks. That's a name I haven't heard in many years. Good to hear.
He came on here just to heckle you. But see, that's the nice thing about YouTube is we can tell who it is.
Yeah, that
Corby, get on YouTube, bro.
But I will say there's another sentence for the establishment of the D tier. It says the sanctioning fee, per player fees, and points factor will all be the same as C tier. So it's the same fucking thing as a C tier. Why have the D tier?
Because it's another place to make money.
It's a revenue stream, baby.
Yeah.
So why don't they let PDGA members send out a survey to PDGA members, take everyone's, like make it a Google sheet, a Google spreadsheet. I make them all the time for kids. You write your name. No, you didn't. I'm still here. Don't you ever silence me. Don't you ever. But 5 questions. Do you agree with change to question number 1? Do you agree with number 2? And it takes people under 3 minutes. Get everyone's advice. Don't just make all these rule changes. Don't create a new tier just because.
D tier.
That's all. Paige is going to go home and just start breaking things. D tier.
D tier. And D tiers, I guess the change of that is a 1 round only, 1 day.
Josh, don't just silence us.
Yeah, that sounds like a waste of a day to me.
What is one? Okay. What's a waste?
1 day tournament.
Why was
it's 1 round, 1 day.
Oh, 1 round only.
I'm okay. I'm okay with you can make tournaments as long as you want because then some people can't do weekend.
But you can't do that with the D tier. D tier is 1 round only, 1 day. It specifies it in the rules.
Okay.
I'm fine with that because people want to sign. Some people would like to make a whole weekend of it. Some people just want to do one. That's fine.
You guys heard it here. Cody's for D tier. He's gonna be the D tier bandit.
Banditos, brother.
Cody's gonna go clean up the D tiers.
Put me in charge of the PDGA. Okay. I'll clean it up.
Start calling them Joe D tier.
There are a few more rules that were changed. So if you want to check that out, you can go look at all the changes that have happened. We're hitting the top of the hour. We're hitting the top of the hour. So if we want to start our closing thoughts with Cody, as always.
I'm campaigning for PDGA tournament lead director 2024. Write my name in the ballot. No, I think give the people a voice. If you are like they do surveys for I got a survey from Sheets the other day about what I like to drink and eat, a gas station, if you will. If they can do something, why can the PDGA not send out and get people's input? Everyone's always saying like, do this and do that. Like, just get people's input. If you can send out all this crap, just send out a simple Google thing to everyone that has a PDGA. Are you for Rule 1? Or are you against it?
Well, that's also giving credit to a lot of our PDGA people that they can understand the rule change or the proposed rule change. Because listening to the way people read these rules and interpret them, most people don't even know how these rules should be interpreted. And a lot of times it leads to argument and confusion. So I don't think there's any point in surveying anybody because I don't think they.
So the general consensus is too stupid. I mean, I agree with that. Go to a Walmart and you'll find some things.
And you'll find a lot of disc golfers.
I did run into a disc golfer at Costco the other day. Is Costco out West Coast or no?
Yeah. Your glitch is insane.
Your glitch.
Why am I glitching? I
don't know.
Because your internet provider is trash.
No, I paid for the high service. No.
No. Waste the money. Should have stuck with the D tier.
This is upsetting.
Josh,
it's pretty good though. Man, Cody needs to get different internet. He last week, his internet caused us to go out for a little bit.
And no lies.
He's just glitching everywhere. Okay, my closing thought is I really like the idea of the D tier. If it was, hear me out. if it was more,
That's what this
of, like,
podcast is today.
We're not
all,
doing
like, all these
hypotheticals,
rule
Josh.
changes,
No.
and you're just gonna be like, let us shit on the D tier. Then Josh will be like, wait, actually,
just
the
hear
D
me
tier is a
out.
good idea.
Let-
No, I'm not
you
gonna
gotta
hear
let-
you out.
you
The D tier is a terrible idea.
All right.
I don't.
Well, okay. All right. So I think the D tier could be a good idea if they had rules like the XFL, like
yes.
you could hit people. You could block this. And one that I really like is that if there's elevation change in the course as you're going up, people are required to like boost you up, elevate you. But if it's downhill, you're allowed to break someone down as best as you can. So
What if they made D tier? You had to play
Actually-
like Ripped Revenge. You had to like pull a card. You had to pull cards on people. Like, oh, you're allowed to break his kneecaps and just.
Yeah, I just want to get rated in a defense and offense category of disc golf.
Circle one putting 98%, defense 100%.
I mean, I'd be down for that. I'd probably be a 1,000 rated pro at that point.
About time you'd be good at something.
Shit. All right, my closing thoughts, guys.
Gee.
As we come to closing out the evenings, I do want to thank you all for tuning in. These rule changes are bogus, and obviously the Nate Heinhold is a little bit illiterate because you have to be if you're writing some of these things. Like, I don't know.
Did
But-
he write them?
I don't know. I figure it has to
Oh.
be. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, tell me you guys are older. No. I'm cutting you off for a second. Please hide that 14 speed only, like 007 GoldenEye slappers only. Who is that? Because that person is my generation. They played 007 GoldenEye. Yes. Show yourself. Good. Bravo to that person.
But no, I mean, I think rule changes need to be looked at. Unfortunately, I think Cody's right. In regarding that, a survey does need to go out in regards to proposed rule changes. I think taking out ambiguity needs to happen. Taking out this murky gray area, like all of that stuff, needs to happen, and it's not happening. They're just trying to, like Cody said, make money and slap in a D tier. Josh is for it, and makes sense because he's from Eugene, and that's kind of a Eugene thing to do. So with that, guys,
Very Eugene.
to support the idea of D tiers and what they represent, that is very Eugene of you.
I don't.
That was my closing thoughts.
I don't.
So
know
we're gonna
if
check.
I
Put up
agree
the
with
sponsor.
that.
Put the sponsor
I
up.
don't-
You know what? I'm
Rare
gonna put a
Air
sponsor up.
Discs. It's in the disc. Check them out, guys. Use code Jammers in the Rough for Rare Air Discs for 10% off. They have amazing stamps coming out, amazing discs,
Look at this.
and they give us a discount to all of you who listened. So with that, guys, this is Jammers in the Rough on CH Sports. We'll see
It's in
you
the
next
game.
week. Keep jamming it in the rough.
Brr.